harmonizing with nature. With over 4 decades of changing lives, your self-discovery archaeologist, get ready to be the best of you with your host, Beverly Zymet.
Hello and welcome to the Beverly Zymet Show, where being the best you has just gotten easier. My guest today is Geraldine Robbins, and she's calling out of beautiful, sunny Las Vegas. Welcome to the show, Geraldine. Welcome.
Thank you, Beverly. It's a pleasure to be interviewed by you.
Gosh, we've known each other now for how many years?
Since like 2013 or 14, somewhere in there.
Wow. Gosh, yeah, I guess it was back then, wasn't it?
2014. Yeah, I think it was 2014, 15.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, it's been an interesting ride. It's been a great friendship. We've been in and out of a lot of different things, and gosh, it's just like, you know, when you meet people that just kind of match up with your heart, it's just hard to let them go, isn't it?
That's right. Thank you so much.
Oh, I know. When I first met you, you were working at a place. You were doing your Reiki, and I think you had a few other things. And then all of a sudden, I hadn't talked to you in a while because I'd been in and out of town. And I come back, and wow, she has her own place, right? Like, oh my gosh. So tell us a little bit about your place.
Well, Eclectic Reikiology and Metaphysical Center is a holistic healing center where we specialize in Reiki, but we do other things as well, other forms of energy healing, such as Seraphim Blueprint, a little bit of shamanic Reiki, Puna, chronic healing, and we also do hypnosis there. April Azzolino, she's our hypnotherapist, and she's awesome. And I am also a lipsologist, and so that's really fun. And then we do psychic readings, tarot card readings, and things like that. And we have lots and lots of classes.
And you forgot the bowls. You forgot the singing bowls.
Yes. Yes, that's one of our most popular meditations, actually, are our singing bowls.
Yeah.
Bowls for you, and you just meditate to the sounds, and it gets inside of you on a DNA level. It's awesome.
Oh, I'll tell you, those bowls, when they start singing together, it just makes you melt. I just get chills thinking about it. I just love it. I just love it. You know, and
I know, it's very healing.
It is. It is. Well, you've got quite the array of subjects that you work on over there. So, hey, a one-stop shop for everything, right?
It is. It really is. I mean, we may be small, but you know, we have a big welcome for everybody.
Well, you know what? That's what it counts. That's just what counts. And, you know, so, gosh, it's kind of a little damper on things here for the last few weeks, right?
You know, it is, but at the same time, it's been good to kind of just lay at home and do things I need to do around the house. But yeah, I'm anxious to get back to work.
Yeah. Yeah, there's only so much house cleaning you can do, right?
Well, I finished that a long time ago.
Well, let's put it this way. Susie Homemaker is not my title, you know? So, but, yeah, it's been an interesting ride. I actually talked to a gal that I've known in Denver for quite some time, and she always gives me a holler when she has several dreams that she wants interpreted. And so she goes, oh my God, I got some dreams. I need to know what they are, right? So doing dream analysis and interpretations have been a lot of fun over the years. And she told me, she goes, Beverly, I had a realization here about a week or so ago. She said, I am so not the same person I was before all of this confinement started. You know, and it's like, I think the majority of people are finding that to be true. You know, they've had to take a look at who they are and maybe what their direction and their purpose is, because it's given us all an opportunity to be with ourselves, you know. And when we get over the first initial shock, and start really, yeah, right, taking a serious look as to what is really actually going on in here, what's going on up here, and am I really focused? Am I really headed in the direction that I want to go? What is my purpose? What am I looking for to accomplish on the planet here, right? So coming out of this, what are you going to do differently than what you did coming into it? You want to share that with our viewers? Anybody out there listening, what are you going to do different coming out of this?
I don't know if, honestly, I really don't have that big of a plan. For me, I've just kind of been sitting still and observing everyone else and watching what they're doing. And obviously, I know that I probably need to implement some online courses and things like that. But as far as doing things differently, I'm not sure, how different things will be, because I'm just following my own path and my heart, and, whatever happens. I kind of fly by the seat of my pants. Even though I do like structure to some extent, I'm more of a impulsive person. So whatever happens. It's just, I'll know it when it comes.
And that's not a bad way to look at it either. And I think that's probably one of the things that really connected us, is that spontaneous thing. It's like, hey, you want to go do this? Yeah, sure. Boom. And, and you're off and running, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes with a business, a structured business, it's not quite as easy. However, you can find ways to get resourceful and work around it. But the work that you're in, the energy healing work, I think is going to be more needed and more impactful coming out of this, because people are going to start, wondering, now that I've done this soul searching and I found these pieces of me that I'm not quite sure I want to hang on to, and I want to change, how am I going to do this? And seek out different avenues that they didn't before. And one of these avenues I want to talk to you about today is this lipology. Is that what you called it?
Lipsology.
Lipsology. You had mentioned that to me in our last conversation, and that really got me intrigued as to what the heck is lipsology. So why don't you explain that, to our audience, and how it works and why it works and what makes it different from any of the other reading modalities that you do?
Well, lipsology is the art and science of lip print reading, and it was founded by Jilly Eddy back in the 1980s, and she went professional with it back in the 1990s. But what it is really, it's like a personality reading, and you can actually see people's traits and characteristics through their lip prints.
Wow.
Lipstick on and kiss the paper, and
there you go. Okay.
Read your print. And it's a lot of fun, and people are really surprised at just how spot on it is, even if there's only a little bit of information that I give, because there are 25 categories and over 100 subcategories based on a lip print reading. And of course, not every individual is going to have all of those categories. Usually there's probably 5 or 6 that really stand out, sometimes more, depending on how good their print is. But for instance, if I'm looking at you and I'm assessing your lips,
it's closer, right?
Your lips are somewhat thin, but if you were to put it on paper, they might come out really full or different than what it looks like on your face. So right. Just looking at someone, you cannot tell by that. But I'll just give you an example of a thin lip print reading.
Okay.
So you've heard that saying, oh, she has a thin upper lip. So if you have a thin upper lip on paper, that means that you're probably really picky and stubborn and, that sort of thing. So just looking at you, I would not be able to say that, because your print may come out as a full lip print.
Right.
But you're not stubborn and picky, because I know you. I mean,
that's cheating. You know me,
But yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell that just by looking at you,
Right.
your lips. But
I've had my stubborn moments though.
yeah, I think all of us have. But yeah, so predominantly it's just basically the lip print tells you based on your energy levels and kind of what you're going through now. So your lip prints, if you place them right now, they're constantly changing based on your moods and your energy. So you could do another lip print in an hour and it might be completely different.
I was just going to ask you that, does it change? And it changes actually that fast. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. That might be something just to play around with, right? Is like put lipstick on and then just kiss a paper, right? And then an hour later do it again and just kind of see what you can see different, right?
It's fun. It really is.
Wow. So what are the names of some of the categories you mentioned? There's categories.
So the categories are based by, so like some of the categories would be the size of your lip prints, the shape of your lip prints, the fullness of your lips, the intensity of the color of the lip prints. The corners all have something to do with the lip print, and
whether it's going up or straight or down or
or whether it's open or closed or
okay.
or feathery. So if you were to have like a feathery little point on the end of your corner of the lip print, that means that you are like an earth angel, that because we call those angel wings. So that would determine that you're an earth angel.
I definitely have to go check that out. I'm just a little angel.
You like doing kind and generous things for other people. So there's little telltale signs, and say somebody might have like a little white space, like a round little dot on their bottom lip. That we call that a seed of change, and that means that something positive is on the horizon that's going to benefit a lot of people. So there's
that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do a lip print, do you just like hold your mouth and put the paper up to it, or do you open your mouth and do it, or how?
That's all part of the story. I don't encourage people to do it any specific way, because that's gonna, be a telltale of how the prints lands, and it all tells a story. So even where the lip prints are placed will tell a story as well. So people do at least 2 prints, but I prefer 3. That way I can link it together and it tells a complete story.
Well, that would make sense. So now, can you do this like long distance? Can people like kiss the paper and mail it off to you, or
they could do that? Absolutely, yes. And that's probably one of the things that I'll be implementing, is doing lip print readings either by mail, or they can scan their lip print and email it to me that way, and I could just
scan it. Now that
yes,
that kind of takes me way back when scanning machines first came out, right? People were sitting on them and everything else.
I was probably one. I did it with my face.
Okay, what do we do with this thing, right? So. Well, can you like get a close-up shot, like say with a photograph? Does that work, or does it have to be a print?
It has to be I could probably do a photograph. It just depends on how big it is in the photograph. Right. It's really tiny, and even with the magnifying glass, if I can't see, the full shape or the lines within the lips, then I probably wouldn't be able to give an accurate reading.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. And is there any specific color of lipstick that shows up better than another? Is there a certain kind of paper to put it on? Is tissue working better? These are I'm interested in this. I like this. You could
use tissue and napkins, regular paper. Good quality paper is probably best. Matted paper. You don't want like glossy paper, because that'll kind of smear. Right. You don't want to use lipstick or long-lasting lip color on your lips, because, it doesn't really come off your lips, so it doesn't really go
right.
And darker colors are better because it's easier to see the full lip print. You don't want to use something that's like a nude color or a really pale pink or something
So
like
something like blue or green or red, right?
you can, yeah, you can use blue, green, purple, whatever, as long as it's gonna make a good print to where I can see the lines.
Right, right. So what do you charge for something like that if our audience are interested?
Um, for individual readings, it's very low. I charge $25 for a 15-minute reading and 45 for 30 minutes. But the main thing about lip print reading is I really want to get into doing corporate events because that's really would be fun for everyone. And that's really the basis of where the lip print reading started with the founder, Julie Eddy. And oh, by the way, I'm still in training. This COVID kind of like put everything to a halt.
Right.
I'm actually on my last leg of getting my certification. So I've been studying this for over a year. But once I become certified, I will be one of 10 in the whole world to
Wow.
particular type of lip print reading under the founder, Julie Eddy.
Now, you do this for men and women?
Yes, and people always say, "Oh, well, men don't want to put lipstick on," but I've done the whole side of my family, all my brothers, my stepdad, my nephews. I've done all of them, and I've actually done a couple of other men too. One of the men who owns another metaphysical shop in town, he and his
okay.
came and got a lip print reading from me, so that was a lot of fun. But as far as like men goes, I have a story to tell. So Julie Eddy, the founder, she was doing an event one time, and it was a huge conference type of thing. And Johnny Cash and June Carter were there at this event.
Oh, wow.
Johnny Cash comes wandering up, and I guess it's pretty much like towards the end, a closing time or whatever. And he was just very curious. And she said, "Come on, Johnny, let me do your lip print." He's like, "I'm not going to put no lipstick on." And there's more than one way to put lipstick on. And so she put lipstick on and gave him a kiss and got his lip print. I just thought that was hilarious.
Oh, well, that is one way to get it, right?
Yeah. So it's okay, men. I have stuff where you can wipe the lipstick off. So.
There you go. That's right. That's right. Well, I mean, gosh, being on stage all the time and stuff, and on TV and the cameras and stuff, usually the singers and dancers and performers or something always have makeup on, and lipstick is one of those. It's surprising that comment came from him. I found that kind of shocking.
I know. But yeah, so it's really a lot of fun. I've done several readings now, and for the majority, most people say it's pretty spot on.
Right. So you said you were going to do it in like a corporate setting. So how is a corporate setting different? What is the purpose of doing it like in corporate?
Because corporate, it would be like 50 to 100 people, and I would just be giving 3 to 4 minute readings, and I can give a lot of information just in those 3 or 4 minutes. And it would be just really super fast paced, nonstop, and I kind of enjoy doing it that way.
Oh, that sounds like fun. So would it make a difference, like say, let's say the owner of the company had, say, 30 people in the company, right? And he invites you to come in to do a lipsology reading, right, for all the employees. Now, will this also help to maybe find out where there could be some kind of imbalance structurally with the people there? Maybe animosities or issues? Does it benefit anything like that?
Well, I mean, obviously it's not going to pinpoint exactly who or what the situation is, but yes, you can pinpoint if there are irritants going on or traumas and that sort of thing. So yeah, you can see if somebody or something is irritating you.
Right.
You can tell how closely it's related to you based on the location of that particular marking on your lip. So the closer it is to the center of your lip, that means the person is closer to you, like a spouse or sibling or child or parent. And the farther away is more like a colleague or an acquaintance.
Interesting. Wow, I had never heard of it. And you said that she was doing it in the 80s, and then in
So,
the 90s actually opened it up. I heard a lot of different modalities and traveling all over the United States and Canada and everything. I mean, I have seen some really unusual different modalities, but I had never heard of lipsology until you mentioned it.
you know,
Never heard of
Beverly,
it.
I found this quite by accident. I was not looking for this. I was actually at my office or my shop, and I was online looking for psychics in Las Vegas because I was trying to, I wanted to hire psychics to come and work in my shop.
Right?
Somehow the lipsology thing came up, and I'm like, lipsology, what's that? And I clicked on it and started reading about it, and I just got this fluttering like, oh my God, I have to do that, I have to do that.
Right.
And so I contacted the founder, and I talked with her on the phone for over 2 hours, and she was actually retiring, and there were only 2 other instructors that she had trained. One lived in Houston, Texas, and the other one was in Maryland. And so my instructor is the one who lives in Houston, Texas. And she's awesome. Her name is Laura West, and she's busy all the time.
Yeah. Well, if there's not that many people around, it's like, wow. So now when you get certified, are you going to be able to then also certify other people eventually?
I'd have to go through further training to certify other people, but I can certainly like teach people without certifying them.
Right.
Teach them like the basics.
How fun. How fun. Oh my gosh. So yeah, wow.
I know. Well, I mean, for you interviewing me now, you know, you need to come down to the shop, and I'll just give you one. I'll give you a lip print reading.
Oh, well, alrighty then. Now it gives me a good reason to go to Vegas, right?
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You're in New Mexico right now.
Well, yeah, I kind of got stuck here,
Yes.
a few weeks ago. It's like, okay, nobody's going anywhere. It's like, seriously? New Mexico? Okay, Spirit, what is in New Mexico? Right? It's like, okay. Well, I had a roof over my head. That was great. Place I'm at is quiet. I got a good friend I'm staying with, right? So that was nice. And we had a high-speed internet. So what more could you ask for, right?
Right, that's awesome. And you're quite the little explorer going here and there. I've always loved following your Facebook posts on, where's Beverly today?
Yeah. That's like my kids, right? They go, okay, Mom, where are you at now, right? But it's been an adventurous life, and I wouldn't change any of it. Would not change any of it. And but I was headed to Vegas, because my grandson was graduating, and he's doing homeschooling. He's been homeschooling since 3rd grade, so his apple cart didn't get upside down. But I guess my daughter was telling me what they did here just recently is nobody's doing final testing, right? And they're taking the grades from the first semester, and that's what they're going to decide whether they pass you or don't pass you. I'm like, I don't know. It sounded a little bit kind of almost scary, But anyway, she wasn't too concerned about that part of it. But, even with the online schooling, then they're not doing the end of year, final tests and stuff like that. But, their curriculum is completely finished already. And that's one thing that I did notice about homeschooling, that they always finished that curriculum, and it's just a whole way of teaching. And I think coming out of this, they're going to find ways. I really feel more homeschooling is going to happen, with the internet and things like that. It's not like the parent has to do it anymore. Like, okay, now you got this stack of books and you got to go through all this. It's not like that, and it hasn't been that way in a long time. And so the stigma of homeschooling, I think, freaks people out, thinking, oh my gosh, there's no way I can spend that many hours with my kid trying to teach them something, and I can't even teach them to make their bed.
It's work. It's work homeschooling your kids because you have to do the work.
Yeah. Well, and it's really not that much because it's all done through the computer. The teachers are on the computer. They're talking with the students. There's interaction from student to student. But it does teach discipline. That's one of the things I have to say. When he was in third grade when he started, right? And having the discipline where you have to get up in the morning, and get his computer turned on and everything ready to go. So there was a lot of responsibility that was put, on him at the time, which he just took in stride, which was great. And I think it was after 2 or 3 months of being online with school that he made a comment to his mother. Now, this is a third grader. He goes, "Ma, this is so much more fun. I am learning so much more," right? And it's like, wow, so because there are no interruptions like there are in a regular school, right? And
that's awesome.
Yeah, so he stuck with it, and he kind of thought maybe when he got into high school he was going to go to regular school for a while, but obviously that didn't happen because he's a senior this year, right? But they are doing they're doing an online virtual Zoom type of graduation, so which would be kind of fun because there's a lot of his aunts and uncles and cousins and stuff that aren't going to be able to make it there.
Yeah,
that can now watch him online, which is kind of cool.
That's very cool. Yeah, so yeah. It expands out to more of the people that you love and wish could be there and can't. Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's a lot of pros and cons that are coming out of this thing, and when you look at the internet and where it's gone and how people are starting to get into the face of the community through the social medias, through the different ways of reaching out, like Zooms and Skypes, that they've been around, but now they're like totally inundated. Oh my gosh, I started my show before all of this, right? And everything was going nice and smooth and working just fine. And all of a sudden, Zoom decided, and they didn't ask me. I mean, my gosh, they didn't ask me that they could do this, right? And so we're on the show and we're going, and it's looking good on this side. The volume's good, coming in, going out, everything's recording fine. And guess what? The person I was interviewing had no voice after the show. I was like, what?
But you could hear her the whole time?
Oh, the whole time. Yeah, it was like there was nothing going on, right? And it's like, oh man, so we had a couple of glitches. But again, it's, the show goes on, right? And you just pick up the pace, and it's like, okay, that's over, next, what do we do? So it doesn't happen again. It was just interesting. There's a transition, but when you look at the amount of bandwidth that was being used from people just inundating, the internet, holy schmoly, it's surprising it didn't just blow it up.
Right?
Yeah. So and now, oh my gosh, the virtual retreats that are out there, the virtual shows, I mean, just virtual, everything. And I'm running into different platforms I had never heard of before. My partner and I, we started working with avatar virtual reality. I mean, we're talking the real virtual reality where you are in charge of your little avatar, right? And we've taken it into that business aspect. I took you and Gayla, yeah, on a little journey through that. Wasn't that exciting?
It was very different and quite interesting. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you haven't seen nothing yet. Oh my gosh, we were opening up to having events where we'll have actual tables where people, can be there with their books or their businesses, and even like yourself, because Reiki is a long distance energy healing, right? We have the availability where we have these really cute little pods, right? That you can have the lighting in there, you get a table in there, right? And you can bring someone from the event into your own little space there and actually do a session on them, because it becomes so real in that virtual reality world that the psyche does not know the difference. And so when you're involved with that, it's pretty amazing. And energy is energy. You know, you don't have to be right there with the person for them to feel the impact of what the outcome is, right? And so we're also having rooms that are auditoriums where everyone can have their own auditorium speaker room, right? Which is really awesome, because if you go to an event, you're only limited to so many speakers, because there's only so many hours in the day and so many extra rooms where you can go to watch that certain speaker, right? But everybody kind of wants to have that moment where they can get on stage. Right? So everybody who has a table at the event is going to be able to have that moment of stage time if they want it. Right? And because go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, it's pretty unbelievable, and I mean,
yeah,
it's very interesting.
Oh, it's really fancy how we put it up. The tables and everything are just like awesome. They're not just plain old tables anymore. I mean,
I was gonna say, so have you done more since you
oh,
took me on tour?
so much more, so much more. And and the nice thing about it, because it is virtual, where if you have an event, you're renting a convention center, right? And you only have so many hours. Well, with the virtual, we'll have once a month, we'll have the date, for the virtual event itself. Okay. And it'll probably be 3 days. It'll be like a Friday night, Saturday, and a Sunday. So we have the hours we're jogging around with a little bit. So I think we're going to stay with that. And we'll make sure that's like on the same weekend every month. And that will be open to the public, right? So, not open to the public like they can walk in, just, open the door and walk in. It's that because of how it's designed, you have a ticket. And you don't get into that world unless you have a ticket to show, right? And there's a code on that ticket. And we're going to do all kinds of fun things with that, So with vendors who are inviting other people, right? It's like, wow, we'll see who gets the most guests coming, for the weekend. Then they're going to get a prize, right? We'll still have swag bags for everybody. How cool is that? Yeah, I mean, this is for real. And so, but the thing is you will have that event center opportunity. Your table will still be available because you have your ticket, right? That coded ticket. So you as a vendor are going to be able to go in and out of that all the time. If you have a guest, so let's just say you had this little pod that you were working on people, and your real place wasn't open, heaven forbid it gets open so for you, but you could actually take them in. So let's just say you had someone that lives in the UK, and they would like to have a Reiki treatment with you, or they want to have a lipstick reading with you. You can invite them into that virtual world in your little pod, private little beautiful ambient space, sitting down there, right? Having the papers in front of you, the lipstick things, or having them lay down and getting a Reiki treatment, whatever the case may be, right? In a very beautiful place that just sets the whole ambiance for the treatment that you're giving someone, right? And that is what makes the difference between just having a Zoom call,
right,
or having a real. It's real. Yeah, it is. It's very real, and it makes the person on the other side who's getting the treatment feel more comfortable, to feel like they've actually gone to a place, and here you are, and that energy is just it's hard to explain what it feels like, because it is different. And the more I go into the virtual reality, it's I find myself actually, when I'm there, it's like, wow, it's like this has become a secondary world to me. This is just as real in there as it is out here.
Right. It's like you are stepping across the veil into another
Yes.
world, or like you're stepping into a TV program and you're now one of the characters.
Right.
You know.
Right. Very great analogy. And so the psyche just follows with that. And so when you're working with someone and doing a session with them, the shifting the belief system and the emotional thing and the feelings, everything just really shifts, so it makes that interaction so much more powerful, right? So much more powerful. So how are you going to respond? And that's kind of where we're taking this whole thing, so that not only is it just for one weekend event, this is something that you can use throughout the whole month. So you actually have like a virtual office that you can utilize. So let's just say you have someone, that missed your show during the event, but they had their ticket and they just didn't get there. They ran out of time. They could actually get into the event center, get into where your show was, into your auditorium, and there's a button they could click and they could watch the video as if you were still right there giving your talk. How cool is that?
It's very cool.
Yeah. So there's so much more
Blazing the trail.
There's so much more advantages to having that virtual, event center and what we're doing, and we're also working with what we call DBI, which is Digital Business International, which is bringing organizations together, like lead groups and chambers and those type of businesses, where you went to do your networking, and they're bringing them into this platform. We've got quite a few now that have brought their whole organizations onto the platform, and they can be in a center. You can be in a boardroom. You can set it up however you want, and it's actually there. And
so, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So, are they doing this because of Corona, or are they going to be doing this all the time now?
They're going to be doing it all the time.
So they won't be meeting in person anymore.
Well, they'll probably still have their in-person ones, off and on. But for the majority of them, it's going to be on in the virtual reality world, because now they can broaden who comes to the meeting, because some people aren't able to be there all the time, right? But now they can. People don't have to drive. They don't have that travel time. They don't have the expense of, oh, well, I got to buy breakfast or, whatever. And then it's like, oh, I got to go. I got to get back to the office, things like that. So they're going to be more focused on what's happening. But they're going to be run, their meetings are run the same. Everyone has their, 10 seconds. Hi, my name is so-and-so. I work with such and such, right? A good lead for me is, right?
Yeah, only it's going to be the avatar talking. Right?
It'll be the avatar talking, but everyone's got their avatars. But it's what's really interesting, when you're there and you're speaking with that avatar, you are associating that avatar with that voice and whatever that name is. It becomes a real person, becomes that reality right there, and so much like second nature, and so fast. That's what was mind-boggling, for me. It happens so fast. Robert and I'll go in there and we'll be running around checking out different worlds and stuff like that. We'll come into one arena, we'll come into our boardroom or whatever, like when we're doing the events. So last night we were in the event center and pointing out different things. And yeah, we're avatars, but at the same time, it was like we were really there. Right there. So much more, because we've done Zooms and everything, but the reality of it was, here's this person and here's this other person. They may be in avatar format, but they're standing there face to face talking, and the mouth is moving. Right? And so it's just, the psyche just picks it up and you're right there. So the reality of it is it really is like real. But when you look at our third dimensional world out here, it's time and space matter. right? You know, so is this real or is it someone else's imagination, right? Are we
Right.
in a dream or is this the other reality and the virtual reality is really virtual? You know, I mean, it's crazy.
There's
You know,
a questions to ponder.
yeah, it's like, okay, what's real and what isn't? You know, so what is real in your world is where your truth and your belief is.
That's right.
And I think a lot of people during this whole COVID adventure are starting to really discover what their world is and who do they want in and out of their world, right? How are you going to respond differently in your world? And that's this vessel that you're in. It all starts here within the self, right? You know, so yeah, it's gonna be an interesting time. I'm telling you, it's like wow, yeah.
It's not just for gamers anymore.
No, it isn't. And you know what's really happening and what's interesting is we had traveled on different platforms because there's a lot of virtual platforms out there, right? And so Robert takes me. He says, "Hey, let's go to this one. Okay, let's go to this one. Okay, let's go to that one. Okay." But the one that we're building in and having our events in is like the top of the line, right? And the ability to be able to turn it into that business aspect of it more so than just the gaming aspect was phenomenal. And you're seeing more of that. Well, we came across a video the other day where there's just different talks because there's so much virtual reality stuff out there that you can check out. And we went back and we looked at one that we kind of talked about doing workshops and classes in because it was a little more laid back, not quite as much activity going on to start doing some virtual retreats and classes in. Oh my gosh, their whole platform was like night and day in just a short time, in probably 3 weeks, I think, maybe at the most. It was almost like stick brick and mortar type of thing to all this elaborate stuff. Like wow, you know. So yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, so it's going to be more and more and more. This is not going away. This is the wave of the future, and it really got its debut, I think, right here during this COVID adventure. But people didn't have anything else to do but to get online. Now, are there special equipment that you need? Well, if you have a gaming computer already, you're set to go. But if you don't have a gaming computer, and again, it's not like you got to put out a whole lot of expenses. You don't need to wear the little Oculus glasses because you can just do it from your laptop. But sometimes the video cards, because it is video and there's a lot that goes into the action and the activity and the movements, you know, so if your video card doesn't reach a certain criteria, it's not gonna work for you. But the investments to make it work can be very, very small. And those are some of the things that we help you guys with too. You know, when somebody wants to get involved with this, we walk you through this step by step by step to make it a transition from one world to another. Very, very simple, right? And so, you know, having people coming into the events, right? What we'll do is, you know, because we'll have it's a ticketed event, right? So we all know, and it's like, okay, everyone needs to make sure that they've got this, you know, the platform downloaded, and we have videos, very simple walkthrough videos. Here's what you do. Here's the link. You put it up there. You click this. You click this. You click that. You know, whatever. And it's step by step by step, and it is pretty simple, you know, to do it, and it's a lot of fun. It's not something that I ever thought in my wildest dreams that I would be doing or involved with. It's like, wow, this is like really different, but it's exciting at the same time, you know.
It's sci-fi. I mean, we've been seeing this on TV for years. People like doing this on TV and movies and stuff, and now it's coming to fruition.
Well, you know, when you look at movies, you know, the animated cartoon type style movies are the ones that have taken over, right? It's huge, it's really huge. The ones that are getting all the global awards or whatever they call. I'm not a TV person and I'm not a movie person, so I don't even know the terminology. But I do know that the biggest box office hits are usually the ones that are all animated, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. I'm not.
Well, I got grandkids and I got great grandkids, and it's like they're always on these little game things, and I got
Yeah,
nieces
that's
and
true.
nephews, and it's like, hey Bev, come and play with me, and it's like, okay, well you're gonna have to show me what do I have to do on this, It's like I gotta push what button at the same time I gotta do what, So,
Yeah.
but I am getting pretty good in the virtual worlds now, and I don't dump myself completely upside down anymore.
That's funny.
But yeah, it's quite an interesting world we live in. There's no doubt about that.
Well, it's
So,
definitely something to explore later on down the road. I don't know if I'm quite ready for that right now, but
well, you just have to come in as a
guest or participant.
yeah. You don't have to be a vendor. You can just be someone who wants to check it out. Right?
Yeah. That's me. I got to explore a little first.
Yeah, and that's great because not everyone wants to be a vendor, and there's only so many vendor spots, but we'll keep building more and more, tables and things as it grows. We're getting ready to do a test at the end of May, right?
Now, since you're talking about this, so say like I was one of the vendors and I was doing a class or something,
Mm-hmm.
invited all these people to come. Would they have to download a specific software in order to get in?
They would have to they would have to download the platform, and the platform is free,
Okay.
right? Yeah, so it's a free platform. Yeah.
Just wanted the whole audience to know that.
Yeah, and again, that's that whole training thing, right? And so when someone does get a ticket, right, they'll have the platform and everything, and even before they buy their tickets, if they're wondering, I don't even know if I can get on, and so all of the vendors will have the link to the platform with the video. They say, okay, here, put it on your computer, see if it works, let's get you going, and whatever, right? So
Yeah,
all
so
of that is made available. Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
So it's as easy as doing a Zoom or some other.
Actually, when you get into the virtual reality world, after just downloading it, probably the hardest thing in there was learning how to make your avatar run around a corner and turn this way without crashing into the wall. Oh my gosh, I still crash into a wall once in a while. If I'm running around outside, jumping and all that kind of stuff, that's one thing. But if I come into a building, right, and there's stairs and other stuff, it's like, okay, I push my little shift key, right, and it makes me walk. Then I'm fine, right? Now I don't walk into the
Well,
walls.
I run into walls in my own reality. I mean,
Well, then you should be used to it, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I don't know what it is, but it's like boom.
Yeah. Maybe that's a message. What in my life am I crashing into? What is blocking me? Maybe I should
Right.
check into that, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So, but it is where the world is going, and for the most part, especially anyone who has kids, they more than likely already have computers that are set up for the gaming and have the video cards that are necessary. And if not, you can get a video card sometimes, or you can buy it. Like my little laptop, I paid $350, which was really good, and it was on
Yeah.
sale. It was $200 off. I bought it at Office Depot, and I bought it there because it had the video card for the virtual reality, Now, the same brand, when I looked in other areas to see if they had, maybe a bigger screen or something like that, but they had the computer, but it did not have the video card in it for the virtual reality. So that's something that you got to check too. And again, this is what we help you with. So if you are looking for something and you don't have one and you need one, we can give you, like the one that I use, because quite a few people have actually gone to Office Depot and gotten this particular one, and they're having great results with it, as am I, right? And they're always going to be on sale back and forth, right? And there'll be, new versions coming up probably towards the end of the year, because it's going to be that time of year, out with the old and in with the new versions, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And as soon as you buy it, it's pretty much obsolete.
Yeah, that's so true. That is so true. But it's not like a huge investment. And again, you have to look at it from the perspective is, where are you going to take your investment in yourself? Right? And I think you're going to see so many more entrepreneurs coming out of this COVID isolation that weren't before that. Maybe were kind of on the sidelines, like, I want to, but I'm not sure. And now it's like, yeah, we're doing this, right?
People. Just take that step. We need more entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Well, when you look at how the country was built on entrepreneurs, right?
Capitalism, yes.
Yes, So it's getting back to that, and this big, huge corporations, aren't quite as massive, with people that they have, used to be, and the industrial world is changing so much, and machines and even robots, they're taking the place of humans. Right, so you look at the little avatars on there, that's not that far removed from the robots that are taking your job.
Right.
Right? So what are you going to do? You better become a little entrepreneur, right? And it's not like the good old days. I got a chicken, you got a cow. I got eggs and you got milk, right? It is a way beyond that one for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we definitely live in very interesting times, and it's going to be interesting to watch how people respond now coming out, because from what I understand, different places are opening doors now. They're not just saying, oh, everything back to normal, whatever normal was. It's like, okay, so we're going to open certain industries first and then let people acclimate with that, and then open up a few more and acclimate. But I think you're going to see 6 to 8 months down the road is where the anxieties maybe and some of the symptoms similar to like PTSD and maybe different depressions and stuff are going to start to show up. And so being able to have things set in motion before this happens, practitioners like yourself and me, and a lot of the people that I've been interviewing are going to be in such great demand. So we really need to get our act together as how are we going to impact lives. And I really personally feel that this virtual reality world is going to make a huge difference. The medical field, the mental institution, the mental health has been using virtual reality for quite a few years now to help people get over different fears and different phobias.
Also, in what manner? I mean, I'm not familiar with that.
What they're doing is they're actually putting people into that avatar type setting during their sessions, and it helps them to calm down. It helps them to go past, and all those inhibitions begin to disappear. The anxieties, because they've got them hooked up on machines too, right? And taking them into the world. So now they have this little avatar, and they're either standing on stage, or they're walking through a grocery store with a lot of people, or they're out in a park where there's a lot of people. They may be walking through an event where it would make them nervous and whatever. So they start taking them into these environments. They push them to that level of where they turn, and that mental activity starts going, releasing those different hormones, the stress hormones, right? And then they back them off that stops, and then they go through their sessions. I don't know exactly how all of it works, but it's on that direction. So then they can push a person to reach that fear, that phobia, what's haunting them in the virtual reality world, but shut it off immediately once it triggers, and then move them graciously in and start through in it. And it's been making a whole lot of difference with people.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So again, it's where your world is, where your belief is, right? Where those fears are, because when you can recognize what's triggering that fear, then you can not trigger that fear.
Absolutely.
Right?
I think too many people live in fear.
Well, they do, and this last 6 weeks with this COVID thing, I think has really probably ignited a lot of fears and had people looking at fears that they really didn't even know existed.
Well, it ignited a fear in me just within the last week of our liberties being taken away. So that's my only fear. I don't fear getting pneumonia or dying or anything like that, but I'm starting to get pissed off, to be honest. But anyway, this is not the platform for that. So.
Well, and it also gives us a chance to look at ourselves, with that, because, where is your freedom? Where is your liberties, right? And that's going to be part of the whole change coming out of this as well. So it'll be interesting. We can save that one for another show.
It's definitely interesting, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So Geraldine, I mean, gosh, we could just keep on going and going and going. Can you share with the audience how they can reach you if they want to have a lipsology reading, or if they'd like to have any other kind of treatment, or know more about your place of business? Where can they go to find you?
Well, if they are texters, the easiest way is to text me at 702-941-4481, or they can email me at my website, eclecticreikiology@gmail.com, or they can actually go to my website, eclecticreikiology.com, and submit a contact form.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. So thank you again so much for being on the show. I really enjoyed our conversation today and found out a lot about this lipsology, and I am definitely going to take you up on a session because I want to see what these lips are saying besides what comes out of my mouth, right?
Absolutely. Well, as soon as you get back to Vegas, call me and I'll set you up.
Alrighty, that's a deal. That's a deal.
And thank you so much for having me. It's an honor, and I mean, you're such a fascinating person, and I always learn so much from you. So, we're friends.
Well, thank you so much. I tell you, it's awesome to have you in my circle of acquaintances, and it's just it's a heart-to-heart connection, and that's what makes people interesting, and what we do, makes life interesting. So,
absolutely.
All right, it's time to go out there and be that best you that you can be, everyone, because Geraldine and I are going to be the best we can be today, right? Bye, everyone. We'll see you on the next show. What?